From within the red mist, a glowing tentacle slowly reached out. With just a gentle swing, the man in front of it instantly froze, his hand raised mid-air, while the massive creature overhead absorbed his teammate's head straight into its body. Terrified, the two mercenaries stumbled backward again and again. But what they didn't know was that something even more terrifying was waiting for them ahead. Our story begins with the 1986 Chernobyl River leak disaster, an event that exposed 3.2 million people to deadly radiation. In the following 10 years, 170,000 people lost their lives. Radiation levels within several kilometers of the power plant skyrocketed, turning the entire zone into a universally recognized dead land. 20 years later, a magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck the region, and with it came a sudden burst of dazzling light in the sky. Since then, supernatural phenomena began occurring inside the exclusion zone. Some claimed they saw floating trains. Others swore they witnessed headless monsters wandering among the ruins. As the bizarre rumors spread, thrill seekers and explorers gradually began approaching the zone. Our protagonist, Jason, is a veteran explorer known for once venturing 10 kilometers deep into the forbidden area alone. One afternoon, while wandering the streets, a mysterious man appeared and invited him to join an expedition team. Jason wasn't interested at first, until the man revealed his identity. He was the captain of a well-known mercenary squad. This time, they were commissioned by authorities to investigate the Chernobyl exclusion zone because a strange signal had recently appeared inside. Its power was so strong that it broke into every unencrypted communication channel. Countless people who heard the signal walked straight into the zone, including an enemy mercenary team known as Giant Rock. Jason's team had to uncover the source of the signal before the enemy did. The next morning, Jason arrived at the meeting point. The squad had 12 well-trained and fully equipped members. Besides standard protective gear, they carried special communication devices immune to electromagnetic interference. Once everything was in place, Jason, serving as their guide, led them into the forbidden zone. Because humans hadn't entered for decades, thick vegetation covered everything. After trekking for half a day, the team spotted a glowing orb floating in midair. Jason warned them to be careful. It was a gravitational anomaly. Anyone who got too close would be torn apart instantly. Soon after, someone reported a campsite ahead. The captain immediately recognized it as belonging to the rival Giant Rock mercenaries and ordered a surprise attack. Jason noticed something alarming. One enemy soldier only collapsed after taking an absurd number of bullets. The captain also turned pale. He had heard a rumor. Anyone exposed to the mysterious signal would lose consciousness and become a guardian of the zone. That meant the enemies they'd just killed were already puppets controlled by some unknown force. Jason froze where he stood. He had heard similar stories before, so this was clearly not baseless rumor. Suddenly, the forest twisted again. A massive floating head appeared in the air, only to vanish in the blink of an eye. Judging from the expressions around him, the others saw it too. A deep uneasiness rose within Jason. In all his years exploring the zone, he had never encountered so many strange phenomena at once. Something must have changed recently. Something terrifying. After gathering their gear, the team pressed forward and reached an abandoned factory before nightfall. Gunfire echoed in the distance. Giant Rock was fighting the zone guardians. Inside the factory lay scattered corpses, all missing their heads. The name tags confirmed they were members of Giant Rock. Clearly they had run into serious trouble. Then someone reported that Giant Rock's main force was camping not far away. Since their combat power was evenly matched, the captain decided not to rest. Under the cover of darkness, they quietly bypassed the enemy camp. By dawn, they reached their second target location. Over the comms, the captain praised Jason. Without his guidance, they would never have progressed so smoothly. After pushing through dense forest, a massive radar station came into view. It was an unfinished Soviet megaproject rumored to interfere with radio signals across the entire globe once activated. Jason guessed the mysterious signal must be connected to it. He also warned the team they had officially entered the inner core of the Chernobyl zone. Nothing they saw from here on would be normal. That night, Jason dreamt once again of floating skeletons, a recurring nightmare that had haunted him for years, as if urging him to come deeper into the core. Suddenly, the captain's voice jolted him awake. The sky had already turned cold, and the captain's expression darkened. Their medic had vanished during the night, along with all the medical supplies. Jason knew what this meant. People were most vulnerable while asleep, making them easy targets for the mysterious signal. The captain immediately ordered the entire team to stay awake until they reached the innermost zone. Passing through the radar station, they arrived at an abandoned train depot, the deepest point Jason had ever reached. The clearest marker was the floating train suspended motionlessly in midair. John, the tech expert in the team, walked over and explained that this was caused by severe magnetic distortion, meaning they were very close to the nuclear power plant. After a brief rest, the squad pushed forward again. Soon, Another supernatural anomaly appeared. A bizarre cloud hanging in the sky, something alive lurking within it. And just ahead stood their final destination, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. But several zone guardians were blocking the entrance. At the captain's command, the squad opened fire instantly. Yet these guardians defied all logic. Even after taking several bullets, they remained unnervingly vigorous. Fortunately, the mercenary squad was experienced and better equipped. They advanced steadily, firing precise shots and double-checking every fallen body. Before long, they made it inside the power plant. Nothing had changed since the disaster decades ago. Everything remained frozen in the moment of catastrophe. After taking down more guardians, John went forward to inspect the bodies. They were wearing old Soviet protective suits, and beneath the masks were completely decayed skulls. These corpses had been dead for years, yet they could still stand and fight. This shattered everyone's understanding of the world. The captain grew uneasy, thinking about the rival giant rock mercenaries camped outside. He decided to leave Jason and John to continue searching inside, while the remaining team members guarded the entrance. Once they set up a simple defense perimeter, Jason and John headed into the deepest laboratory. Documents were scattered across the floor. The two split up to search for clues, until Jason stumbled upon a smartphone. This meant someone had been here recently. Curious about what was inside, he found a charging cable and plugged it in. The documents on the floor were labeled Project C. Not long after the nuclear accident, strange electromagnetic fluctuations appeared inside the zone. Soviet scientists had conducted research here despite the radiation, but the project was forced to shut down early. While Jason focused on reading the papers, the phone finally powered on. One glance at the call history made him freeze. John's name was in it. He immediately confronted him. John tried to deny everything, but Jason grabbed his hand and forced it onto the lab's access scanner. The green light that flashed confirmed it. John had been here before. Cornered, John finally told the truth. Years ago, a group of neutral scientists secretly entered the power plant and restarted the abandoned Soviet Project C. At first, their goal was purely to improve information technology, but they accidentally discovered that radiation-borne signals could affect magnetic fields and even influence the human brain. Using this principle, the scientists built a device capable of manipulating brainwaves. Their intention was to remove negative emotions from humans and create a peaceful utopia. But then, a group of explorers barged into the lab. Without asking anything, they slaughtered all the scientists. Only John and a few assistants escaped. John later learned the truth. Those explorers were already being controlled by the brainwave device. But because the device could absorb human consciousness, it eventually developed its own self-awareness. All the supernatural phenomena the team witnessed in the zone were merely illusions created by this device to lure more people in, feeding on their consciousness and growing stronger each time. Recently, the military contacted John to reassess whether the device could still be controlled. If not, they would launch missiles and completely destroy the facility. Hearing this, Jason was furious. But since only John could authorize the bombing order, he had no choice but to cooperate and finish the mission. Meanwhile, outside the building, the mercenary squad spotted suspicious movement. Before they could react, an enemy detonated a bomb and the Guardians swarmed in. The mercenaries fought fiercely, but the manipulated Guardians were fearless and unstoppable. The sounds of battle echoed into the building. Jason and John quickened their pace. After unlocking the final door, they entered the control room where the brainwave device was located. Instantly, the world around them shifted into a crimson-colored nightmare, and not far away sat a human figure, the squad's missing medic. Before they could approach him, a glowing tentacle slashed outward, severing the medic's head in a flash. Then, they finally saw it. Floating above them was a gigantic mass made of countless human heads. This was the zone's self-created consciousness. Jason grabbed John and ran. A burst of light engulfed him, and Jason was pulled into an illusion. He saw his long-deceased wife, so real, so warm, but he knew deep down it was only a trick. The next second, he snapped back to reality. John was gone. In Jason's hand appeared a small note, left by John. John had chosen to remain forever inside the illusion. Along with his farewell, he also gave Jason the military contact codes, the activation key for the destruction order. John too realized the truth. The zone's consciousness could not be controlled. It had to be destroyed. Following the instructions on the note, Jason successfully activated the destruction protocol. Outside, the battle had reached its peak. Several mercenaries had already died. One soldier, desperate and with no way out, grabbed a Guardian and leaped with him into a gravitational anomaly. Just when everything seemed hopeless, Jason pushed through the chaos and reached the captain. Once they received the military's evacuation order, the captain led the remaining survivors and broke through the encirclement. Moments after they escaped the power plant, a massive explosion erupted behind them. Under the military's overwhelming firepower, the self-aware entity was surely obliterated. Yet Jason felt uneasy. He declined the captain's offer to join the squad, already thinking about returning to the zone someday. The story of Chernobyl was far from over. But as for the movie, this is where it ends. If you made it to the end of this wild journey, you're officially part of the channel family. So, do me one favor, smash that like button and subscribe, so we can keep exploring insane movies together. And drop a comment below. Do you think the zone's consciousness is really gone? Your theory might appear in the next video.